Today we'll talk about Plato, right? And you know a little bit about Plato, right? So just you need to write it. Fine. जितना बहुत ज़्यादा लिखना है PSIR में लिखना बहुत है. So write. Start writing. हमने कुछ प्लेटो के बारे में लिखवाया नहीं था, राइट? कुछ नहीं लिखवाया था ना, राइट? लिखिए. Plato was a first political philosopher. Plato was first political philosopher, and he is known as father of political philosophy. Plato was the first political philosopher, and he is the father of political philosophy. It is said that Plato was a philosophy and philosophy was Plato. Sumanta, note it down. It is said that Plato was philosophy and philosophy was Plato. He wrote 34 books and 13 letters. He wrote 34 books and 13 letters which influenced generation of political philosopher. 13. He wrote 34 books and 13 letters which influenced generation of political philosophers. It is said that Plato wrote political philosophy, and later on all political philosophy is a footnotes to the Plato. It is said that Plato wrote political philosophy, and the later political philosophy are footnotes of the Plato. Sumanta, whenever you unable to write, let me know, bus. Yeah, you may just tell me. You said I have not written it.
So
Fine.
can you repeat the last sentence, sir?
Plato wrote the original political philosophy, and later political philosopher writing is the footnotes of the Plato.
Okay, sir.
Write it. Plato wrote original political philosophy, and the later political philosopher, so writing is the footnotes of the Plato. Right? Change the paragraph. This is the introduction about Plato, right? Fine. Change the paragraph and write. When Plato born, Athens was fighting with Sparta. When Plato born, Athens was fighting a war with Sparta. Democracy was on decline, democracy was on decline. Democracy was on decline. Sophists were engaged in delivering education. Sophists were engaged in delivering education for acquiring power and prestige. Sophists were engaged in delivering education for getting power and prestige. Athenian democracy executed Socrates. Athenian democracy, ATHEN, Athens हो गया, Athens, Athenian democracy, Athenian democracy, क्या लिखा? Athenian democracy executed Socrates. Right? Plato closely observed all these incidents. Plato closely observed all these incidents, especially the death execution of his teacher Socrates. Yeah, come. Especially that death execution of his teacher Socrates. What the idea? Yeah, change the paragraph and then write Plato was heavily influenced by Socrates. Plato was heavily influenced by Socrates. Plato was heavily influenced by Socrates. The fundamental idea, knowledge is virtue. The fundamental idea, knowledge is virtue, borrowed from Socrates' teaching. The fundamental idea, knowledge is virtue. कल बताया था ना? Knowledge is virtue, borrowed from Socrates' teaching. Like Socrates, Plato emphasized on idea of knowledge. Like Socrates, Plato emphasized on idea of knowledge. And he opined that wisdom and virtue, along with reason and logic, he opined that reason and virtue नहीं बोला होगा. Yeah, wisdom and virtue along with reason and logic are the foundation of any state. कुछ तो याद ऐसा नहीं है, जो भी स्टोरी अलग नेक्स्ट टाइम बोलूंगा कुछ और बोलूंगा, राइट? तो ऐसा होता है कि एग्जैक्टली सेम लाइन नहीं लिखवा पाऊंगा, बट हो सकता है कि रिपीट करूंगा तो थोड़ा एक दो वर्ड इधर उधर नया आ जाएगा, राइट? तो आप लोग के लिए भी डोंट रिमेंबर इट, डोंट मग इट अप, समझिए इसको अच्छे से एंड अपने वर्ड है आपके पास लिखिए, फाइन, या इसी वर्ड को लिखिए, फाइन. हाँ, लास्ट लाइन क्या था? फाउंडेशन ऑफ एनी स्टेट. या देखिए, Plato's Republic you know, Plato's Republic was to establish an ideal state. Plato's Republic was to establish an ideal state. Now let me hang on for a minute, for a second. He wrote 34 books and 13 letters, but I told you that his idea, entire idea, we need to talk about republic. Then the most important work is law, and then statesman. बताया था कल ना, statesman, right? So his idea, his objective, his aim to write republic was to establish an ideal state, right? Why he wanted a ideal state? Like, why Plato, want ideal state? क्या कारण था? Exactly. The democracy, the contemporary democracy had many problems. The contemporary democracy of ancient Athens had many issues like corruption, manipulation of power, unbridled freedom. Presentation is not visible. I am not writing anything on presentation. I'm not writing anything, just dictating. क्या लिखा? The contemporary democracy of Athens had many issues like corruption, manipulation of power, and और क्या लिखा है? कुछ नहीं लिखा है, लिखिए. Manipulation of power, right? Moral degradation, moral and ethical degradation, unbridled freedom, ये लिखवाया था. Unbridled freedom मतलब होता है क्या? मतलब पता है? Unbridled freedom मतलब बहुत जरूरत से ज्यादा स्वतंत्रता. Unbridled freedom that led to decline of Athens. Plato followed Socrates. And wanted to establish an ideal state. Based on wisdom and prudence. Got the idea? So that's why he wanted to an ideal state, because the contemporary direct democracy had many problems. Fine, it lost war lost होने के बाद तो ऐसे ही दिमाग खराब हो जाता है, नहीं? Exactly, because they don't have region, they don't have prudence. उनको लगता था कि इनके पास नॉलेज कम है, राइट? और ये मतलब ऐसे रूल नहीं कर पाएंगे, ऐसे हम स्टेट नहीं बना पाएंगे. Got the idea? Right? Key ideas in the republic. अब key idea क्या पढ़ना है हमें, right? Key ideas in the republic जो हमें पढ़ना है. First, theory of form, theory of form. Second, allegory of cave, the allegory of cave, CAVE. मेथोडोलॉजी मैंने डायलेक्टिकल मेथोडोलॉजी बताया है, रेस्ट मेथोडोलॉजी मैं बाद में बताऊंगा, बाद में समझ में आएगा। अभी बताऊंगा तो आप बहुत सारे सवाल करेंगे, और मैं बाद में बताऊंगा तो आप बिल्कुल सवाल नहीं करेंगे, एग्जाम्पल दे दूंगा, देखो उसमें अपनाया है, उसमें अपनाया है, ठीक है। तो अभी घबराने का नहीं है। थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म, एलेगरी ऑफ केब, राइट। सी थर्ड, आइडियल स्टेट, पूरा उसका आइडियल स्टेट, आइडियल स्टेट। फोर्थ, we will talk about division of labor, labor and social classes. Fifth, idea of justice or theory of justice. Sixth, we need to about theory of education. Theory of education, right. Seventh, philosopher king, philosopher king, right. Then eighth, theory of communism. Communism, communism मतलब होता है common share, right, share in common. These are the major idea that Plato had given in his book The Republic, right. And we will deal one by one, ठीक है। Sorry, what is that? No, I don't have idea. Guys' ring. मुझे तो नहीं पता है ऐसा कुछ, मुझे बताइएगा फिर से।
One shepherd got a ring, a magical ring, which where he used to press some button and he got invisible. And after that, he approached the throne of the king and he thrown him out, and he just made himself the king. So somewhere like that.
I've never, no, I don't have any.
It is equated to that if someone gets unrestricted power, how he.
I know unrestricted power is philosopher king, but I don't know the particular story. एनालॉगी इसका मेथोडोलॉजी है, वो बाद में बताऊंगा। एनालॉगी मेथोडोलॉजी है, वो बाद में बताऊंगा, राइट। बट पर्टिकुलर दिस इज रिंग एंड becoming a king, that is not there. जस्ट मुझे भी बताइएगा कल, कल अच्छे से थोड़ा पढ़ के मतलब लेके आइएगा कि क्या पढ़ा, ठीक है। नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म। या, have you noted down all these 8 ideas that we need to discuss, Samantha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the first idea we will talk about, theory of form. Right. Basically, he talked about how the human minds work, basically, right. There are intelligible part, there are intelligible world, right, and there was a world of senses. He said, there are two world of senses, right, world of idea and world of matter. right? There are two world. अगर मान लो ये दुनिया है तो there are two world. One is matter, right? And there is another world called world of ideas. World of ideas, right? So whatever we see around us, like chair, mobile, right, laptop, anything, AC, anything that you see, that is the world of matter. What we can see, what we can sense, right, what we can touch, right, what we can feel, that is a world of matter, right? And the other is the world of idea, that we can get through the idea knowledge. That world we can get through the knowledge. Now every matter is a reflection of idea. This is not a real world. The world of material world is not a real world. Real world is the world of idea, which never changed, right? It is eternal. This is not subject to change, world of idea, but this changes. For example, body and soul, right? In Indian story, soul never changes. What changes? Body. So if you look at the matter is a reflection of idea. So whether there is a debate whether matter come first or idea come first, so Plato says it is a idea which came first. पहले दिमाग में आया कि okay मुझे टेबल बनाना है, and then we had made a table, right? Got the idea? So he said, this world of matter is a subject to change. The world of matter changes as per the time, circumstances, requirement, right? So the world of material world is the reflection of idea. For example, body is a reflection of the soul. If soul is good, body would be good, right? Soul cannot be decayed, but body can, right? Body can decay, but soul cannot. Similarly, the world of matter may decay, but world of idea will not. Got the idea? Fine. So यही एक यही है. That is just entire story. समझ में आया? कोई डिफिकल्टी इसमें? कुछ नहीं है, लिखिए. Theory of form. Right. Plato divided the world into two types. Plato divided the world into two types. One, the material world, and second, the world of idea. The material world, and the second is the world of idea. Plato argued that the world of idea is real. The world of idea is real. It is perfect. The world of idea is real. It is perfect. Right? It is fixed and not subject to change. The world of idea, right, is real, perfect, fixed, and not subject to change. On the other hand, the world we see, see, touch, senses, is not real world. Is not real world. It is a material world. It is a material world. Right? It is a shadow of the idea. It is the shadow of the idea. It is the shadow of idea. It is subject to, it is, illusionary world. Illusionary world. It is a illusionary world. Right? Not perfect. Just ulta hai iska. Not perfect. And not fixed. It means changed. Yeah. Change badalta rehta hai. Subject to change. Subject to change. Got the idea? Change the paragraph and write. The world of matter can be created and destroyed. The world of matter can be created and destroyed. The world of matter can be created and destroyed. It is an image copy. It is an image copy or shadow of the real world, which is the world of idea. Right? Okay. For example, body and soul. For example, body and soul. Soul is real, but body is illusion. It can decay. Body can decay, but soul cannot. Body can decay, but soul cannot. Right? इंडियन फिलोसफी में यस 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 ये जो मैंने सोल एंड बॉडी का लिखा इंडियन फिलोसफी का है
तो इनमें भी ये रहता है कि मतलब सोल तब तक रीइंकार्नेट होती रहेगी बॉडी के साथ जब तक पूरी तरीके से उनको मतलब मिल जाएगा राइट राइट सेम इनका भी चल रहा है और सोक्रेट्स का भी जो हैमलॉक लेडी का होता है रीजन उसका भी ये था कि बॉडी तो वैसे भी जानी है तो सोल और फ्री हो जाएगी एग्जैक्टली तो उसने भी एक्सेप्ट किया तो काफी बहुत सिमिलैरिटी है कहा जाता है कि सोक्रेटिस के डेथ के बाद प्लेटो वहां से निकले और वहां से इजिप्ट होते हुए इंडिया होते हुए फिर से वापस गए एंड ही एस्टैब्लिश्ड वन इंस्टीट्यूशन उसका नाम था एकेडमी राइट उस संस्थान का नाम था एकेडमी एंड ही स्टार्टेड टीचिंग राइट he started doing research he started giving philosophy right and उसी एकेडमी में एक ब्राइट स्टूडेंट था जिसका नाम था एरिस्टोटल राइट समझ में आया तो एकेडमी उसकी किसने बनाया था प्लेटो ने एस्टैब्लिश करी थी तो आफ्टर डेथ ऑफ सोक्रेटिस इट इज सेड दैट सोक्रेटिस मूव्ड फ्रॉम एथेंस right he was not liking at all the contemporary democratic setup in the Athens and moved to Egypt to India and then returned back to again Athens right and he set up right and he moved I think 12 years it's not 1-2 years he remained 12 years out of Athens and then went back to Athens and set up academy fine so क्या लिखा like shoal right Plato argued लिखिए Plato argued
The soul is ultimate. The soul is ultimate. And it is a source of knowledge. And it is a true guide. It is a true guide. Soul is ultimate, and it is a true guide to knowledge. To knowledge. Right? Knowledge can be acquired. Knowledge can be acquired. It is a most virtue. It is one of the most virtue. Knowledge can be acquired, and it is one of the most virtue. Those soul which are dominated by knowledge is the most happiest soul. Those soul which are dominated by knowledge is the most happiest soul. राइट इंडियन में भी वो कहा जाता है कि नॉलेज, इंडिया में भी नहीं कहा जाता है कि नॉलेज जिसके पास है वो लिबरेटेड है, उसको पैसे की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट वो उसको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से थोड़ा सा. लुक एट द sheer sages of ancient India. They were not actually attracted towards the worldly things. कि राजा महाराजा क्या ले रहे हैं, खुद राजा नहीं बनते थे, राइट. Anyway, now write critique of, write critique, Aristotle's critique. Aristotle ने critique किया है इसको. Aristotle's critique. Aristotle is a huge critique of, अगर अच्छा चेला होगा ना तो अपने गुरु को खूब क्रिटिसाइज करेगा, और अच्छा गुरु होगा तो उसको ऑफेंसिव नहीं लेगा, नहीं तो भड़क जाएगा वो, अरे तुमने मुझे कैसे चैलेंज कर दिया. हाँ, नहीं हो सकता है. इट्स नॉट फॉर एग्जांपल एनीवन कैन नॉट बी परफेक्ट. उन्होंने एक स्टोरी बताई, मुझे नहीं पता है. व्हाट्स रॉन्ग इन एक्सेप्टिंग दैट कि मुझे नहीं पता है. अगर उन्होंने लाएंगे कल तो अगर होगा तो मुझे पता चल जाएगा. इट्स लाइफ लर्निंग प्रोसेस, राइट. नॉट एवरीबॉडी हैव द परफेक्ट सारा नॉलेज उसके पास है. नो, इट्स नॉट दैट. फाइन. नाउ एरिस्टोटल्स क्रिटिक लिखिए. Aristotle in his book Politics, Aristotle in his book Politics, Aristotle in his book Politics was critical of Plato's distinction between idea and matter. Aristotle in his book Politics was critical of Plato's distinction between matter and idea. Aristotle argued that the world of idea and the world of matter are not different. Aristotle argued that the world of idea and the world of matters are not different. They are the same. Ideas are properties of the matter. Ideas are the properties of the matter, and they resides within the matter. फिलॉसफी ना.
वो भी इसमें आर्ट एंड कल्चर में बात था, अद्वैत ये सब फिलॉसफी के अंदर भी टाइप थी,
बट उसमें थोड़ा अलग है.
बॉडी फॉर्म और ये सब सेपरेट. यहाँ पे भी ऑलमोस्ट वही सब चल रहा है.
हाँ हाँ, थोड़ा मिलता जुलता है बट एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर नहीं है, राइट. क्या लिखा? Ideas are the properties of the matter, right? And they resides within the matter, not the outside. They resides within the matter, but not the outside. right? Both worlds are interlinked. Both worlds are interlinked and interdependent. Both worlds are interdependent and interlinked. Therefore, Aristotle rejected the Platonic idea Therefore, Plato rejected the Aristotle rejected the Plato's theory of form. ठीक है, तो इनके चेले ने तुरंत इनको क्रिटिसाइज कर दिया। नहीं, एक्चुअली क्या हुआ कि दो किताब दो अलग अलग टाइम पे लिखी गई है। अलग अलग है।
इसने बोला कि ठीक है, नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो है, लेकिन इसने अपनी बात को सपोर्ट कैसे किया कि जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो मतलब जो क्रिटिक किया उसने सपोर्ट कैसे किया?
उसने कहा कि जो आइडिया है ना, आइडिया resides within the matter. There are the properties of the matter, right? They does not exist, in isolation, right? So when you mingled with the matter, then you gets idea. When gets idea, you get matter, right? Both are interlinked and interdependent. They are not dependent on independent of each other. समझ रहे हैं, राइट? सो उसका प्रॉपर्टीज है वो। आप एक एक्चुअली बहुत अच्छा पेंटिंग है जहां पर प्लेटो और एरिस्टोटल दोनों साथ में है। प्लेटो ऐसे करता है, राइट? ऐसे किया हुआ है, और जो प्लेटो ऐसे किया हुआ है, एरिस्टोटल ऐसे किया हुआ है, राइट? प्लेटो के लिए दैट वर्ल्ड इज अ रियल वर्ल्ड। Even in the in Hinduism and Islam, right, that world is a real world, and this world is the world of illusion, maya hai, nahi, right? और एरिस्टोटल का जो आइडिया है सांख्य फिलॉसफी कि कोई ऐसा वर्ल्ड नहीं है, यही है, यहीं पे खाना है, यहीं पे पीना है, यहीं पे मर जाना है साहब, कोई दूसरा फिलॉसफी। हाँ, Buddhism is the same. Buddhism does not believe in other world. Got the idea? So that is how it is similar to the Indian philosophy. Fine. Sorry? एक्चुअली क्या होता था कि लोग आते जाते तो थे ही। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैकियावेली को जो हम पढ़ते ना, मैकियावेली का बहुत सारा आइडिया या अर्थशास्त्र से मिलता जुलता है, कौटिल्य के आइडिया से बिल्कुल टू कॉपी है, बिल्कुल टू कॉपी है। बट मैकियावेली बिकम फेमस अर्थशास्त्र, कौटिल्य डिड नॉट।
दोनों आइडिया अलग अलग जगह से ओरिजिनेट हो, फिर मैच करके गया तो
ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है। It's not that
maybe universal.
Yeah, exactly. So some set of people, two set of people thinking same story.
Conditions भी almost similar दोनों।
Fine. So चलो ये हो गया हमारा। Now come to the allegory of cave. इसको समझिए। अच्छा, allegory of cave. Sumanta, did you get the theory of form? इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है हमें उसमें।
Yes, sir.
Got the idea? Theory of form, what we talked
Yes, sir.
about.
Yes, sir.
The real world is the ideal world, right? World of idea, as per Plato. But Socrates, no, Aristotle does not agree with his teacher. Now come to the allegory of cave. Now allegory of cave, यहाँ पर analogy है। मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूं। ये है कि मान लीजिए कुछ केव में लोग हैं, मान लीजिए केव है, राइट? केव है और यहां पर कुछ लोग हैं। There are few people, they are interconnected, right? and they are sitting like this side, or Samaji this side, one, right? And here there is a fire within the cave, right? In this source of light, they are, seeing whatever they actually want to. They are very comfortable, right? And they don't want to come out of the cave, right? Why they are comfortable? Because they are linked in the chain, right? And they don't care about what is happening outside. They are living in ignorance. They are living in ignorance. They're happy, right? But the true light is sunlight. True light is sunlight, and true knowledge is whatever you can see in the sunlight rather than in the light of the fire. Right? Now look at the society. We live in like a allegory of cave. We are happy with the existing things. For example, we are believing in all the orthodoxy, all the social tradition norms, and we are happy with that. We are marrying in intra-caste, right? Or intra-religion, right? We are following all the practices, right? We are living ignorance. We are happy, right? And we don't want to question the way of living we are living, right? So true knowledge is, breaking the chain and coming out of the cave, breaking the chain of the existing social order and acquiring the true knowledge. Getting idea, right? And and those people who actually break this become the leader, right? If you see the early leaders, they were very educated elite, despite of differences, difference of the Islamic religion, right? They broke the all social chain and came out. They got the modern education, right? And they become leader basically, right? So what happened, he said कि when a person is linked with the chain, जैसे हम हमारे यहाँ भी है one story about, आपने सुना है ये कुआं में कौन रहता है? मेढक का कुआं, कहानी सुना है कि वो अपने ही दुनिया में रहता है और खुश रहता है और समझता है कि सारी दुनिया यही है, राइट? सिमिलरली यहां पर देखिए कि कुछ लोग केव में हैं, दे आर इंटर रिलेटेड विद द चेन, राइट? चेन यहां पर है, सिंबल है कि लोग जब सोसाइटी में रहते हैं तो सोशल रिलेशन से बंधे हुए होते हैं, राइट? वो हैप्पी, दे आर हैप्पी, हु वी ऑल आर हैप्पी with the social relations, right? We don't want to break the chain, and we don't want to question the existing social order, right? We don't want to become a leader, for example intercaste marriage, right? Or inter-religion marriage, right? And become leader. Fine. Questioning the existing social order, the person who does it becomes the leader. But when he comes to this society, जो भी करता है ये काम, अब फिर जाता है कि अरे भैया तुम क्या कर रहे हो, ये अच्छी चीज नहीं है, तो ये बोलते अरे तुम पागल हो गए क्या? The all social people laugh at him. You are mad. मान लो कोई सोशल इंटरकास्ट मैरिज कर ले और अपने कम्युनिटी को समझाने लग जाए कि मैंने बहुत सही काम किया है, शायद 200 साल पहले बाद ये ऐसा होगा और खूब अच्छे खासे से होगा, वो लोग हंसने लग जाए, क्या तुम अधर्मी? अभी तो बहुत कुछ अच्छा खासा हो रहा है इंटरकास्ट मैरिज, सोचिए 200 साल पहले की बात, कोई इंटरकास्ट मैरिज सोच सकता था क्या? अभी 5% इंडियन पीपल डज इंटरकास्ट मैरिज, राइट? अब सोचिए 200 साल बाद क्या होगा? देयर विल बी इंटरकास्ट मैरिज, राइट? सो but when you go to the society and try to convince them, they will laugh at you. सिमिलरली अगर हम अपने सोसाइटी में जाएं और बोलो कि ये कास्ट सिस्टम बहुत बेकार है, सब हंसेंगे, अरे महामूर्ख, भगवान ने हमें बनाया है, ब्राह्मण को ऊपर, राइट, वैश्य को, क्षत्रिय को उसके करता है. Laughing represents the reluctance and resistance of people. लोग उस कंफर्टेबल जोन से बाहर आना ही नहीं चाहते हैं, है ना. Laughing represents reluctance or and resistance, right? Then third, next, the person who come out of the cave represents leader or teacher or guide. Right? Sunlight represents true knowledge. Sunlight represents true knowledge. दो लाइन और लिख लीजिए बस. Plato, through the allegory of cave, wants to state that Plato, through the story of allegory of cave, wants to state that we must acquire knowledge and we must follow the wise person. लीडर है ना जो बाहर आया है उसको फॉलो करना चाहिए. ट्रू नॉलेज. We should acquire knowledge and must follow the wise person or guide, right? Who can show the true path. Who can show the true path. बस यही दो फिलॉसफी थी. इसमें देखो एनालॉजी, पूरा एनालॉजी यूज किया इसने, है ना, कि एलोगरी ऑफ केव को यूज किया कि पर्टिकुलरली जैसे हम रह रहे हैं ना, राइट, उससे कि हम रह रहे हैं जैसे लेकिन हम केव में रह रहे हैं. जैसे केव में लोग, जैसे वो होता है ना, बहुत लोग को सुना होगा क्या जीवन में ऐसे हो जैसे कि वो मेढक का कुआं रह रहा है, कुएं का मेढक रह रहा है, राइट. मेढक बड़ा कंफर्टेबल रहता है, अपने मेढक उस कुएं में टर टर करता रहता है, मजे लेता रहता है. बट वर्ल्ड इज, बहुत दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है. कहते हैं ना गांव में, अरे बाहर जाओ, गो टू द आउटसाइड, गो सिटी, लुक द वर्ल्ड, वर्ल्ड इज बिग वन. क्या तुम गांव में रह के यहाँ पर जो भी लोकल खाना खा के, हाँ, यहाँ का पानी पी के और यहाँ का गाना सुन के मस्त हुए रहे हो, राइट. दिस इज नॉट अ ट्रू नॉलेज. नॉलेज पूरा दुनिया देखो थोड़ा, कहते हैं ना. Yeah, Sumanta, am I able to convey you the message what Plato talked about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Now let's talk about the theory of ideal state. In detail, we will talk about later on, but this was the third now. Theory of ideal state. Now, his ideal state consists, right? His ideal state consists justice, right? State-led education, state-led education, and it is based on communism of wives and property, and it is ruled by the philosopher king. Philosopher king. जैसे अभी करेंगे उस वक्त. Yeah. So if you look at the theory of ideal state, his idea, he was not happy with the existing democratic state of Athens, and he wrote Republic, and the purpose was only one, to establish an ideal state. How ideal state would look like? Ideal state would look like where there would be harmony among the people, right? Each person will do act or work as per his natural aptitude. We will talk about justice, right? And there will be state-led education, and it will be based on communism of wives and property, and this state is ruled by the philosopher king, right? So पहले ideal state को समझने के लिए हमें समझना पड़ेगा कि ये है क्या, right? Fine. So that is the things. Now you write division of labor. The next point. ये चौथा था ना? Yeah. यहाँ पर भी आपको इंडियन फिलॉसफी से मिलता जुलता मिलेगा. Yeah, division of labor नहीं, caste system से. Yeah, varnashram. Division of labor and social classes. Is the next topic. Division of labor and social classes. My goodness. Yeah. Is it visible? The board is visible to you, Sumanta?
Yes, sir.
Now it's visible. Okay. Now, if you see, he said, we live in society. Everybody lives in society, right? And in society, what is the normal rules? We exchange, right? We exchange each other. For example, farmers, grow more food than he actually eat, right? Or for example, shoemaker makes more shoe than he wears, isn't it? So, and for example, so in normal society, everyone do some work, every family does, or everyone does some work, right? And we, do we exchange, right? What would be the role of ideal state here? The role of ideal state is to moderate the exchange, right? For example, to make a small mandi, right? Or for example, if someone is expert in making shoe, then train them in making shoe, right? If someone is expert in producing grains, then educate them in good how to use the high yielding seeds and fertilizer and water judiciously, so that you can grow more. If someone is interested in education, reading, right? Someone is interested in wisdom, then a state educate them, right? If someone is interested in more in adventure, right, protecting people, then a state should educate them accordingly. If someone is excellent in some other thing, state should do that. Got the idea? So he said that every state, in every state, we exchange goods and services among individual, right? Individual actually produces more than he consumes, right? We exchange. What would be the role of the ideal state? He said, role of the ideal state to moderate all these exchange and to identify who are suitable for whom with what. अगर कोई स्टेट ये सुटेबल आइडेंटिफाई कर लेता है कि 5 people or particular set of people are interested in playing music, then a state should provide education accordingly, right, to make excellent, because he has a natural interest, naturally fitted to that, and if you give education, then person will become a specialization of knowledge, right? And he said, every soul has four virtue. Every soul has four virtue, right? So each soul has actually three virtue. Fourth virtue बाद में बताऊंगा. Every soul has three virtue. One is called wisdom, right? Other is called spirit, and third is called appetite. Every soul has these three virtue, but one virtue dominates. किसी में हो सकता है wisdom. In some soul it may be wisdom which dominates, but in some soul it is a spirit which may dominate. But there are souls in which appetite may dominate. The state has to identify कि ये आदमी किस में है, किस कैटेगरी में है, right? And then state has to train them, educate them accordingly. What is the fourth virtue? Fourth virtue is justice. What is justice? Justice for for Plato, if you have this dominating soul, wisdom, then you must go for education, right? Acquiring knowledge and disseminating knowledge. If you have this, if your soul is dominated by a spirit, then you go for military, right? You go for military. But if you have this kind of soul, right, dominating soul, then you go for production, consumption, money, property, buying, selling, and all, right? What is justice? Justice is justice is to act as per the soul. And he said कि ऐसा नहीं कि एक सोल में केवल विजडम होता है, नहीं, ये तीनों विजडम होता है, तीनों होता है, राइट? बट डोमिनेट एक ही करता है. एक सोल में एक ही जो actually virtue dominates the soul, either wisdom or spirit or appetite. What is justice? Justice is like architectonic. It allow individual to act in which he is naturally fitted to. जिसमें वो naturally fitted है, naturally उसके पास interest है, right? Justice कहता है कि वही काम करो, right? State का काम क्या है? State का काम भी है. The role of the state is to educate that soul, right? In which the individual has virtue. Got the idea?
So it is like follow your passion.
Follow your passion, yeah, exactly. Right? If now let me compare with the caste system. Wisdom, Brahmin, spirit, Kshatriya, appetite, Vaishya. Perhaps he would not seen the untouchable that time, right? And because कुछ टाइम ही रहा होगा, इन्हीं लोगों के बीच में रहा होगा, तो आपसे छुप गया होगा. ये यहीं तक देखा ना उन्होंने. चौथी क्लास है कहाँ इनके लिए? शूद्र तो है ही नहीं है, शूद्र टाइप नहीं. No, even let me tell you, he was from aristocratic family. In his book, he does not speak for slave. अपने किताब में स्लेव के लिए बोलना भी ये वाजिब नहीं समझा. Aristotle talked about slave. Think about that Athenians city where he lived, right? And he wrote book Republic. He did not mention slave. वहां एक चीज उसने कहा कि ये स्लेव को बेचना खरीदना बेकार है. But he did not criticize slave, right? Aristotle justified slave. We'll talk about that later on.
Plato is against slavery, or he is?
No, Plato was okay with that. Plato was not actually happy with the buying and slave, buying and selling of the slave. But he was not critical of the slave.
You acquire slave, but not transfer.
You cannot transfer, you cannot buy. But actually he did not make any greater commentary on slave. तो हम क्या कह सकते हैं? ये तो अपना अपना अभी interpretation होगा. नहीं. For example, he made commentary on women, right? He actually advocated equal education for man and woman. But at the same time, Aristotle was in favor of education, but Aristotle was not in favor of citizenship. But he was in favor of citizenship. He allowed women to rule the state, become part of the state, become military, right? Become ruling class. Who? Plato. But his purpose was different. We'll tell you later. Right? His purpose was different. Some scholars पढ़ाते हैं उनको feminist बोलते हैं. He was not feminist. Fine? No, not at all. Right? Exactly, use कर रहा है उसको. He's not allowing women for liberation of woman herself. He's allowing women for making, ideal state. और जब communism of vibe पढ़ेंगे तो उसके communism of vibe में he does not allow women, right, to have right to sex. Right? किसके साथ सेक्स करना है वो लड़की डिसाइड नहीं करेगी, वो डिसाइड कौन करेगा? फिलोसोफर किंग. राइट? ठीक है, उनको कर ले नीचे. दैट इज कॉल्ड anachronism. We can't say that. Anyway, got the idea? Right? So we will write tomorrow. Can we? And I think after this week, Saurabh, we will have 2 hours class.
Yes, sir.
You asked ना? We are getting the synopsis का जो है ना, उनका वो हमारा हो रहा है. तो we are transferring. वो भी हमारे पास हो जाएगा. अब क्लास का थोड़ा दिक्कत है. I have forwarded your mail to the management.
Sir, I have to. It takes 1 hour to come and go.
Yeah, I can understand. Even you will be happy to finish it on time. Of course, कौन linger on कौन करना चाहेगा? Sorry? तो आप लोग 23 में देना चाहते हैं? You all? Okay. So can we do one thing? Can I also initiate the section B? Section B मैं किसी और में पढ़ा रहा हूँ. तो just I can club. तो 2 घंटा वहां पर, 1 घंटा यहाँ पर. Right? And there is no interconnection. ये अलग है theory, section A and section B अलग है. Can we do that? आप लोग बताइए क्या टाइमिंग होगा? We will try to. You can manage the morning time. At what time? 8?
Sir, actually, if you make time between 12 p.m. or something.
12 p.m. when? 12 to 2?
12 to 2, because after that I have GS class.
12 to 2?
Yes, sir. 12
What about you people? You all are okay? 12 to 2 और फिर यहाँ पर ये जो टाइमिंग है उसको रहने देते हैं, क्योंकि वहां पर मैं सेक्शन भी शुरू करूंगा अभी. क्यों नहीं? अच्छा, सेल्फ स्टडी के लिए. देखिए जो इसमें है, इसमें ज्यादा सेल्फ स्टडी नहीं करना है. पॉलिटिकल थियरी में इसमें तो कहानी है, आराम से कहानी समझाना है. बट इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स में पढ़ने के लिए चाहिए. आपको किताब मिलेंगी, वो पढ़ना है.
और ये वाली क्लास हमारी 4:40 भी स्टार्ट होनी है. तो जो बीच का गैप है ना, उसमें घर नहीं जा सकते.
तो क्यों जाना घर?
बैठ के पढ़ने के लिए.
हाँ, कहीं बैठ के पढ़ लो, इसमें क्या दिक्कत है?
क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट से मैंने बात की थी. मैनेजमेंट ही नीचे जो मोनिका मैडम काउंसलर,
राइट.
उन्होंने कहा था कि यहाँ कोई ऐसे स्पेस नहीं है स्टूडेंट के लिए.
आप one thing ना, यहाँ पे लाइब्रेरी नहीं है कोई.
Join libraries, they don't allow for 2 hours, 3 hours. They allow for stretch of hours.
Right.
घर के पास भी ज्वाइन कर रखी है, वहाँ भी कैसे जाते हैं?
कहाँ पर?
घर के पास.
घर के पास
यहाँ
ओके
तो सर दोनों क्लासों की टाइमिंग मतलब बहुत क्लोज हो
हाँ
जाए।
सर, अगर थोड़ा सा क्लोज हो जाए आगे घंटे में कर सको भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन
let me talk so can I ये इस क्लास को ऊपर भगा सकते हैं क्या? ऊपर मतलब I mean to say in the afternoon, in the noon basically, just before noon.
Sir, noon, sir, I have 2 to 4:30 class and I cannot change it. After that, I can manage any time. I
No,
try
no,
to manage.
just 12 to 2 आपने कहा कि चलेगा,
Yes, sir. 12,
right? तो 11 से आप छुट्टी हैं, 11
11
to
to
2,
11 to 1.
11 to 2, 2 घंटा तो वो पढ़ाना है इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स।
मतलब फिर दोनों क्लास
ये धीरे धीरे चलेगा ये पार्ट, इसमें कोई ज्यादा पढ़ने की रिवीजन करने की जरूरत नहीं है।
3 hours continue.
कंटिन्यू,
दोनों
सर
क्लास
ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा।
will that work?
Yes, sir.
Right? So let me talk and then we'll start. Fine. Let's see. Okay, Sumanta, is it fine for you? 11
Yes, sir.
to 2, yeah. So see you
Yes, sir.
then tomorrow. Yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow.